Everyone. I'm Robbie Young, Vice President of Strategic Growth here at CUInsight.com. And today I'm bringing you a 3 questions video interview with a really special guest. Joining me is Tyler Talbot, Regional Vice President, Gallagher. Hi, Tyler.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Good.
What forces should we expect to drive changes in executive benefits for credit unions?
That's actually a really good question. As I think about that, probably top on my list is really going to be there's going to be a changing of the guard. When you look at what's happening in the credit union industry, CEOs are starting to turn over. And you've got probably, well, I don't know the exact statistic, but I know it's for sure more than 30% of all CEOs in credit unions are 60 years of age or older. So you think about that. In 2018, I had a lot of credit unions that were calling me and they were saying, Tyler, I need to sit down with you. We need to find a way to keep our CEO because our people aren't ready to take over the CEO seat. And so we had some conversations with them. And not that they didn't have the talent was there, but what they didn't have was the experience. And so now you fast forward from 2018 until 2025, going into 2025, those younger executives now have the experience, and those older executives now are ready to retire. And so when you think about what's really going to be the biggest change that's going to happen in 25, it's going to be that there's going to be turnover starting at the very top. And so, there's a couple things that I think you need to think about is, from a board perspective, because really boards are the ones that are going to hire CEOs, and they need to make sure that they're educated and understand what's happening in the marketplace, that they understand what's going to be fair and reasonable when you're talking about how best to structure whatever plan you're going to put together, whatever contract you're going to throw together for the CEO that's going to come and take the place. And so as long as as a board you get engaged and you understand, you have either a firm like mine or our firm come and talk to you and explain to you what's available to you, what you can do, and what's going to be the best avenue to take, then that's going to be the best way to do it. And in fact, I was working with a large credit union in the Midwest. And they came to me, and we do executive benefits. Obviously, I'm sure everybody knows that, but we do executive benefits. And they came to me and they said, we need to put together a plan. And because we've done some work with them in the past, we've got the perfect plan. This is what we want to do. And I sat down with the chairman of the board and I said, look, I think this is really good, but the most important thing for you to do is to have a conversation with your CEO. Because CEOs, what's important to them is going to help make sure this plan is the right thing. And he said, well, this is the right plan. I know it is. And I said, well, just have a conversation with the CEO. He had a conversation with the CEO, and what they thought was important to the CEO and what was actually important to the CEO were 2 different things. And so they ended up changing the plan and making that work. So people always come to me and they say, well, Tyler, what's the most important thing you can do in the plan? What's the best plan you can make? And really the best plan that you can do is the plan that actually works. The one that's going to retain your CEO. That's the job here, right? Is to retain. So when you're talking about attracting, rewarding, and retaining your executives, you need to make sure that you're having conversations with them and the board is really understanding and been informed on what's happening. The people that you're hiring, they know. They're very familiar with what's happening in the landscape of credit union land. And so you need to make sure that as a board member, you understand what's happening and what their expectations should be. Not that you want to give away the farm, because that's not the way to do it, but it needs to be commensurate with their peers. It needs to be fair and reasonable. So when you ask me, what do I think is changing the most? That landscape is going to change. The changing of the guard, that there's going to be other executives that come in and start taking over. And I think it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, exciting, but can certainly see how there definitely needs some support and go between there. How can credit unions better position themselves to meet these challenges?
Yeah, well, I guess I kind of answered that a little bit already. The first thing I would say to them is don't panic. Boards, in my experience, boards want to do the right thing, but they don't always know how to do the right thing. So to go back to what I said a little bit earlier, make sure that you're getting opportunity to get in front of consultants that can help you make good decisions, they can help you understand the process. The process is huge. And if you do your job as a consultant, so if I come to your credit union and I'm consulting you, I will help you through that process so that the decisions that you need to make become easier. So that would be the most thing, and stay engaged, understand what's happening at the credit union, have conversations. Don't try to run the credit union. That's not what they need to do. That's why they hire CEOs, but they need to stay engaged in what's happening. What does the landscape look like? What's available from a plan standpoint? How are we going to make sure that we're doing the most effective thing? And how do we use our money the best for the credit union? What kind of environment are we in? What are the interest rates look like? Our interest rates have a lot to do with what type of plan we can put in. Now that we have this new administration that's going to come into the White House, what do the interest rates look like? Let's pause for a second, not panic, and let's say, okay, let's just see what's going to happen with this administration and how they handle the interest rate and what opportunities that allows us as we go forward and try to make sure that we lock down our key executives. So that's what I would say is probably the best way to position yourself, is to get educated. Make sure that you understand what's happening in the space.
Nice. So in your opinion, do you think there's a bright future ahead?
Oh, huge future. I mean, I agree with the board members. As in 2018, when they were meeting with us and saying, I just don't think our younger people are ready. You're right. They weren't ready. They had the talent, but they weren't ready. What they do have, though, now is the experience and the talent. And I believe that bodes for a bright, bright future. And I think that as long as credit union boards take the opportunity to learn what they need to learn so that they can stay engaged, it's going to be huge. I mean, you've got all these that are going to retire. I think I went over the stat earlier that more than 30%, and we deal with 600 credit unions across the country, more than 600 credit unions across the country, and every one of them is now saying, okay, our younger people are ready, and the future is bright, and I see it. Absolutely, it's going to be tremendous.
That's so exciting. I love a positive outlook on that, and I agree with you. Do you have any final thoughts for our audience or final asks of our listeners today?
Yeah. I mean, I would say executives, make sure you get informed and understand what's happening, and boards as well. It's really important that you understand what's happening in the space. And if you do, you'll make good decisions. Hire someone to help you make those decisions. And if you do, your credit union will continue to flourish. It's going to be fun to watch. These next 10 to 15 years are going to be pretty awesome in the credit union space.
That's so exciting. Thank you again, Tyler. It has been such a pleasure to connect with you. And thank you so much for your time today. And a final thank you to all that tuned in today for this 3 questions video interview. We will be sure to see you again next time. Thank you.